Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ian Mitchell. I'm a partner at Anthony Gold Solicitors and I'm head of the Leasehold Services team. I'm joined today by a special guest, David Robson of Robson Surveyors. David's an expert valuer in the area of leasehold reform work. Both David and myself specialise in statutory lease extensions and collective enfranchisement claims. That's where you buy your freehold as a group. That's under a specific piece of legislation called the Leasehold Reform and Housing and Urban Development Act 1993. What I'm going to talk with David about is is essentially how important it is for people who are going to explore extending their leases or buying their freeholds and getting the right team, getting expert people involved in this work area. Both David and I have extensive experience in this. I mean, David, how long have you been doing leasehold reform valuation work?
I've been doing leasehold reform since 2011, and previously I was involved in commercial valuation work over at one of the big companies in town, which actually is the investment valuation method was actually key to leasehold reform, which is unusual for a residential property, and actually it's just the first example of why this is a niche area of work. It's a specialist form of valuation to account for the interests that we're really valuing in these lease extension premiums. So
not all surveyors do short lease valuations, freehold reversion valuations. It's really a specialism. What qualifications and kite marks do you have to exemplify your expertise?
Sure, we're members of ALEP as a firm. That's the Association of Leasehold Enfranchisement Practitioners. Bit of a mouthful, but that
runs for both valuers, surveyors,
exactly
and
right.
also managing agents and barristers.
And solicitors, yes. Yeah. I mean, it is a kite mark in the industry for those professionals that you mentioned who specialise in this area of work, and i.e. the key legislation that is involved in.
So what do ALEP vet to submit people to their kite mark?
So there is actually quite a detailed vetting process, and it's actually on their website. But in essence, a firm would have to show that they have experience in dealing with these cases.
And a significant experience, isn't it, David?
It's significant experience, and it's also, they've got to be put forward by other
professionals in the industry.
That's right. I mean, I only had a call this week, in fact, to vet someone that had been put forward. And
Dave, so you're a panel member, aren't you?
That's right, valuer committee member.
So, in terms of from the committee perspective, you're fully aware of how centralised and how niche this industry has become. It's almost a collaborative approach now between a lot of the valuers and the solicitors in terms of how they approach and interact.
That's very much so. I mean, and for us, the success of a case, it has got to be getting the right team on board from the outset who know what they're doing. I mean, these matters can be very complicated, and in fact, more often than not, they are.
So just by example, just say. The other side, the opponent may be the freeholders' legal and valuation team. Just say they don't know what they're doing. They're not niche.
Well,
the valuer doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, how does that cause problems?
The reality is that can go either way, because if the other side don't know what they're doing,
you get what you want. Yeah,
you either get that, or you get someone who you have to effectively educate to get to the right point. If they're asking for something that's effectively way too over above what the right price should be. But there are other occasions where obviously you're dealing with someone who was actually effectively undervalued, and that's it. From our point of view, that's what we're getting to. What is the right price to be paying? And we just have to see. It's about knowing your opposition to a certain degree. But from my experience, a lot of the cases where you've got the institutional freeholders behind them, they're going to have a professional team behind them that knows what they're doing. Their valuer and their sister team.
They could be doing it in house, couldn't they, David? Some of these portfolio landlords are doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all under one roof, isn't it? The legal and the valuation team.
No, very true. But essentially, they will know what they're doing, and therefore that's got to be matched by a leaseholder who has the right professional advice to know what to do. Because otherwise, the freeholders will take
full advantage.
We'll take advantage.
Well, they're going to try and take. I think we come up with this slogan from our business perspective, and what we say is, "What's right for your landlord may not be right for you." And you probably, what's your view on that?
It's very true. I mean, at the end of the day, it's getting to the right result. And the right result is twofold. I mean, it's the cost of that premium that you're paying, but it's also the cost for getting there and employing the right professionals to get the right advice, rather than having a situation where a case unravels and you go months or years down the line without a resolution.
And we get commonly, you're referring clients onto me who've had inadequate legal assistance, and we're picking the pieces up. I mean,
that's right. I mean, there are often cases.
And whilst there may be remedies to claim their losses from a professional negligence point of view from the previous representatives, I mean, really, we'd prefer not to see clients in that situation because they've gone through years of anguish, heartache.
Totally right. And the
stress.
problem is, you're saying years there, but they could be years where someone had intended originally to extend a lease and sell the property, and suddenly they're not able to do that because they've been caught up in a horrible situation with getting the wrong advice, all because they either employed the wrong professionals originally, or they went with someone who said they knew what they're doing, charged a lower fee, and they went, I'm going to go with the lower fee. And I've only had a call today on that basis when that's happened.
So getting the right team is integral to success in this area of work.